It's been 2 weeks since a deadly explosion at the Givaudan food coloring plant in Louisville's Clifton neighborhood. 2 workers died and people around the factory continue to recover. And we are continuing to learn more about the scope of the damage and the investigations into that blast.
And for that, we bring in WDRB digital reporter Marcus Green. And Marcus, you have new information on a complaint that was filed back in August about safety concerns at this plant.
Right. What we knew from a few weeks ago was that a worker had said that she had filed a complaint with state safety regulators before this explosion in November. I received a copy of a complaint that was filed with the state back in August. Now, it doesn't name the person who filed the complaint, but it does list some safety concerns at the time, including chemical leaks, some alarms that were not functioning properly, as well as runoff on the floor, product on the floor, I should say, hoses in the work area, which the complainant said makes it an unsafe area to work. Now, of course, this complaint was received by the Kentucky Labor Cabinet. It was not investigated because the state says it didn't get additional information about the things put in that complaint, so it wasn't able to formally open an investigation. And of course, it should also be noted that none of the things in this complaint that we received tied directly to the initial investigation that put the blame of this blast at a overpressurized vessel.
Those issues that you named in that complaint do align with what the worker who talked to us said and the video that she showed us as well.
Yes, that's a very good point. They do align. They do, in a way, corroborate what she told us, which was that there were concerns about chemicals leaking and some other issues at the plant. So while we can't make a direct correlation to the explosion in November, we can use that as a way to understand concerns that were raised at this plant.
You also mentioned that the Labor Cabinet said it didn't get any more information. Did it seek more information?
It did, and what the records that we received show is that as soon as the state received this complaint, it reached out to the person who filed it asking for more information because the state, those officials claim there wasn't enough information to fully begin to investigate. So what our records show is that a complaint was filed, the state made an effort to get more information. Because it didn't receive a response to its request, it then closed it.
All right, Marcus, and we know that so many people were affected by this blast. It was heard and felt far and wide. Do we know how many people really were directly impacted from this explosion?
We're learning more about that every day. Givaudan has been holding town meetings, or I should say office hours, with people who live in the area, landlords in the area, property owners in the area. Just today I spoke to Louisville Emergency Management to get a little bit more information about how many damage complaints they've gotten. They say they've gotten roughly 90 complaints that account for more than 80 addresses. So it begins to just continue to show the scope of this massive explosion that we're seeing on the screen right now. It created so much damage to buildings and the entire neighborhood in Clifton and beyond.
There are multiple investigations happening here. Can you give us a rundown on where they stand?
Yeah, we have several things happening at once. We have the Kentucky Labor Cabinet, which looks at workplace safety violations. They've started an investigation that should take about 6 months or less to complete. Also, the State Public Protection Cabinet is doing an investigation because of its expertise with boilers. The one to watch, however, the Federal Chemical Safety Board, which previously investigated the explosion in 2003 when it was D.D. Williamson, that's the one to watch because it will look at and see if any of the previous recommendations carry forward to this most recent explosion.
Many probes happening here, many investigations. We know that you are continuing to dig through records and look for new information. So we look forward to your next report. And if you want to see Marcus's latest article on this explosion and what he's learned so far, go to our website, WDRB.com. Thanks, Marcus.